Hello and welcome to the video. This is going to be part 2 of the 300 legendary tokened World War artifact tier list that you may have seen part 1 for already. And well, we've got a few more artifacts to get through, and that's the plan this video. Before we do that though, there's something that I have been dying to do all day, and I'm just going to do this right now. Here we go, 2 seconds. There we go. Hang on, one more second. Thank you. Okay. Right. Now we can do this video. I've been waiting to do that all day. So, part 2 of the video. Here we go. There's a lot of artifacts for us to get through. However, before I do, I have been thinking about my current rankings that I've got here. And I've been making some careful considerations, been speaking to a few people, and in some ways, I suppose, having my horizons broadened. And I think I even said as well, actually, in the previous video, I may have started off a little bit too generous and got a little bit harsher as I went on in that video. So there's a couple of amendments that I'm going to make before we go any further. First one is that Gemini 8 gloves, they need to go up here, alongside the Aztec Type 113, because those are they're just two must-haves for a defender. Next one is, and I've thought long and hard about whether I want to put this one up into S tier or A tier, and I've decided that it doesn't belong in B tier. In my opinion, I think it is gonna go. I'm gonna put it in A tier for now, and I'm going to think about it a little bit more, and maybe by the end of the video, I might move it to S tier. But for now, my rationale behind this one is that legendary artifacts and which ones you should have, which ones are the best, all that sort of stuff is highly dependent on an individual's current selection of what they have. In other words, it's sort of contextual or subjective, however you want to put it. So saying that, Gamebox is an S tier, well, yes, it is, but not really, because if you haven't got a couple of these other ones in your collection, then there's no point you having the Gamebox if you haven't got some of the other ones. That's what I'm trying to sort of explain behind my initial, maybe harsh ranking of that one, because Gamebox, from what I could tell and from discussions I've had, more consideration, it is for Lego players, something that could be in your sort of top 3, top 4 choices, alongside the kettle drum, the prosthetic hand, and then potentially Caligula's ring or the arm of Charlemagne. But anyway, let's not get into that discussion too much. Please comment in the section below if you have something you'd like to add to that, because yes, that's the conclusion I've come to. It's not a B tier. I've considered it more. I've had my arm twisted, and I'm not afraid to say when I've been wrong. And so it's going in A tier for now, and I may move it up more after a bit more thinking and consideration in this video. So let's move on, and before we do, I'm going to have another little sip of refreshing lager beer. And whilst I do, if you wouldn't mind just liking the video, I would really, really appreciate that, because it just makes this all a little bit more worth it. So I'm going to have a little sip of my refreshing lager beer. And if you wouldn't mind liking the video, that would really just be great. Thank you. Okay. Okay. That was more than a little sip, but you know what it's like when it's been a long week. So, let's review some artifacts. That's what we're here for. Next one up to be reviewed then. We've got the Gyro Sword. Now, this is an artifact that I do actually have, but it's not one that I actually brought with tokens. I just stumbled across it in an event, I believe, back when I was keen on doing those events. I've just realised I'm not full screen. There we go. Oh, getting the full experience here. So, this one then, the Gyro Sword. Is it good? Do we like it? Well, it's another one of those ones that you're more than likely going to use in your showcase, because it's not really got something that it's not got a lot to offer. It's got bomber damage and general damage, which we like. Heavy tank damage we don't necessarily like, and factory troop damage, again, we don't really like that because, as I said in my previous video, factory troops just aren't what they used to be and not really used a lot at the moment. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Pardon me. Goodness gracious me. Anyway, we like it, but it's something that would go in your showcase. It's sort of like middle of the run. You might use the bomber damage in your showcase. If you're a defender and you've got this, you might use the defender damage. And you might put the general's damage in your showcase. So for me, Julius' sword, it's okay, but it's not something I would go and spend 300 tokens on because it's not something I would put in my actual war hall. I'd more than likely just use this, well, I am using this just in my showcase. So for that reason, the Julius' sword being that sort of, you know, average, not even average, a little bit below average, it's going to go in C. Right, moving on. Next one. Julius Caesar. Oh, Julius, we love you. Why do we love you? Well, that's because, well, there's only 3 legendary artifacts that offer the barracks troop damage line, and Julius is one of them. And why is that important? Well, as I've said previously in the last video, this buffs the damage of all of your barracks troops, which makes it really, really strong. And we've got a bit of general's damage on there. And if you're a defender, you can actually take the invading barracks troop damage line and put that in your showcase. So, Julius Caesar, we like you, and for that reason, Julius Caesar, we're going to put you... Oh, now, where are we going to put you? Because I kind of want to put you in A tier, but at the same time, you know what? Yeah, he's got to go in A tier. He's got the barracks troop damage. You want that in your showcase, especially for Lego players. So, Julius Caesar, you're going up there. We like you. That's where we're going to pop you. Okay, we've got Leonidas Bust. Leonidas Bust, lots to offer, but unfortunately not anything that's really going to benefit troops that sort of like in the current meta. So we like the quick victory time. That's something that you would probably put in your showcase. And we like the general's hit points and damage. That again is something you'd probably put in your showcase. But apart from that, really, bazooka damage and bazooka hit points, they're not really beneficial because bazookas aren't really used that much and aren't as strong as they used to be. Back in the day, if you were a Commandos and Zooks player, you'd have your Leonidas Bust. You'd love it. You'd have that in your war hall, and this would be doing all the things you want it to do. If you're a defender, you may consider running the Merc Camp deploys Spartans when destroyed in your showcase, and there were several times back in the day where I would have attacked someone that had this, and my troops would have been wiped out instantly by those Spartans from the Merc Camp because they are strong. But is it worth spending 300 tokens just to get that? Not really. The quick victory time increase is lovely, but there's other ones out there that can do that also. Like I mentioned, the Battle Sea Shield, that can do that as well. So Leonidas Bust, you're good. You've got a unique couple of stats there. 2 unique stats, 3 unique stats kind of there. So yes, we like you, but unfortunately, it's not like current meta-y. So for that reason, you are going to go Leonidas Bust. We're going to go B. We're going to go there, back where the game box once was previously. Okay, moving on. Liberty Bell. Now, Liberty Bell, when it was first announced, was meant to be a mortar troop-based artifact. However, they BHG very quickly decided to change that because a lot of people got a little bit cross, saying, hey, we've got Kettle Drum. What are you trying to do? You know, make us buy another one. But then something along those lines. Anyway, I seem to remember some sort of kerfuffle regarding the Liberty Bell. Anyway, Liberty Bell, what do we like about it? Airstrip troop hit points, lovely to go in a showcase. All enemy defensive towers damage. Again, that's a handy little one if your equipment aren't quite there. Ranged infantry damage, range infantry damage. I mean, I don't know many people that are using ranged infantry. For that reason, those 2 lines aren't the best. Airstrip troop hit points, if you're a bomber player, handy to have in your showcase. If you're a fighter player, or any, well, hey, all airstrip troop points increased is a nice one to have in your showcase. Are you going to go spend 300 tokens on Liberty Bell for that if you haven't got other artifacts that you currently need? Probably not. So, Liberty Bell, you are going to go somewhere here. Somewhere here? Somewhere there? Let's just double check. Yeah, I think that's where it's going. That's where it's going. Okay, moving on. Maori War Club goes without saying. This is an S tier. Why? Well, because for defenders, it's got all the things that you want. It's got the all defensive towers, hit points, and damage. That is 2 for the price of 1 there. Going to increase all the hit points and all the damage of all of your towers. It's got defender spawn time. It's got defender movement speed, a unique stat, and invading recon scan duration, a unique stat. Hey, general's attack speed, we like that as well. So, Maori War Club, I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. If you're a defender, that is one that you are definitely going to want to put in your collection. That is Maori War Club. Okay, right, what have we got coming up next? We've got Napoleon's Boxlocks Pistol. I've got to say, I don't think I actually even remember this one being released. 1 second, need a sip of beer. Refreshing lager beer. Oh, last time I did this video, I got an incredibly dry mouth and tried to do the whole video without any drink. I did actually end up taking a very last minute drink break with some water at the end of that video, but this time I've come prepared. So if you haven't liked the video, like the video, because hey, who doesn't like a crisp, refreshing lager beer on a Friday night? Right, Napoleon's Boxlocks Pistol. What have you got? Supply vehicle healing? Yeah, okay. General's hit points? Okay. Heavy cavalry hit points? Barracks troop hit points? We like that. Fighter damage? Would have said that would be great to have a couple of months ago. However, in the grand scheme of things, is this something you're going to put in your war hall, in one of your 3, 4, if you've got the Hermitage Museum slots in your war hall? Probably not, because it's a bit of a funny mix going on there, and there's better options available if you are a Lego player or a Bomber player. So, Napoleon's Boxlocks Pistol, I like the Barracks Troop hit points line. That's great in a showcase. And the general hit points, supply vehicle healing, okay-ish, but where are we going to put you? Napoleon's Boxlocks Pistol. Let's pop you down here. Again, the Barracks Troops hit point is good, but for 300 tokens, I just don't know. I think, personally, this is more like 100 tokens worth of stuff here, really. It's kind of like the Gemini helmet, isn't it? Gemini helmet, 100 tokens, you get the Barracks Troops damage. I feel like this is kind of the equivalent for the Barracks Troops hit points. 100 tokens, I would buy that straight away. 300 tokens, I can't. I just can't. 300 tokens, that's going to, there's better things we can buy. Okay, what have we got next? Narmer Palette. Narmer Palette, invading fighter damage, air defense damage, bomber hit points, fighter hit points, bazooka hit points. It's quite a mixture here, kind of a hybrid thing going on. If you're a defender, then yep, you're going to like the invading fighter damage and air defense damage. However, as we've said previously, there are better artifacts to put in your actual war hall. For offensive players, of course, we've got the bomber hit points. If you're a bomber player, we're going to probably want to put that in our showcase, because there are, and we'll come on to those later on, much better artifacts for bomber players. So this one is great, but again, it's not going to probably go in your war hall. It's going to be something you're going to take one of these lines from and put in your showcase. So for that reason, we're going to put you somewhere, somewhere there. Again, these are all of these ones in C tier. Like, they have something to offer for the showcase, but apart from that, you're probably not going to put them. In your war hall, are you? Okay, Norden Bombsight. I remember when these were given away back when the old recruit a friend thing was a thing, and then everyone had a Norden Bombsight, including me. I had 3 of them because I referred lots of friends, but then, I sold it because I was silly, and this is when I needed to get supplies. But anyway, I'm digressing here. We don't want to go off on a tangent. Norden Bombsight. APCs deploy Marines on death. That's quite nice. In a showcase, perhaps. Coalition troop damage. There's better things out there. Defender spawn time. Again, if you're a defender, that's something you'd probably put in your showcase. Again, invading fighter damage. If you're a defender, going to go in the showcase. Machine gun infantry damage. No one's really fussed about that, are they? Let's be honest. So again, another artifact here that's not going to probably go in your war hall. it's more than likely going to be something you're going to take one of these from to put in your showcase. So therefore, it's a similar sort of situation. Norden Bombsight, you are going to go there. Don't worry. There might be some of you thinking, oh, he's running out of room. I can extend this. Look at that. So, don't worry. We've got plenty more room for plenty more artifacts. Okay. Next up, the Olmec Colossal Heads. So, this one came out, I think, fairly recently. And lots of people invested money, crowns to get this because it was a fantastic artifact for fighter players. And then we all remember the very sad day when fighters got nerfed into oblivion, and there were lots of people that were very upset. However, is it still a great artifact? Yes. Why is that? Because it's got rally cooldown, increased rally duration, two very nice unique lines. It's got a big old enemy defender spawn time there, and some fighter damage lines there. And there are still fighter players out there that will say that this is, they kind of need this in their war hall. So for that reason, this is a great artifact for any of those fighter players that are still out there. And also, if you're just a Lego player, for example, and you want to get that rally, boosted as much as possible, you've got rally cooldown and increased rally duration there. One of those in the showcase would go a long way. Or enemy defender spawn time, depends on what tickles your fancy. So, Olmec Colossal Heads, we like that. It can go... Ooh, it's going to go up here. It's going to go up. Pardon me. It's going to go up there because it's got lots to offer, and I can't possibly put it lower than the man pack. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Like I said, a lot of this is sort of, go with what I feel, go with the current sort of meta, and then let's see where we're going to put it. Okay, moving on. Every bomber's wet dream, the Gyro Gunsight. Why is that? Well, it's got bomber hit points, and then it's got some more bomber hit points, and then it's got recon scan duration, and it's got a bit of bazooka attack speed, which no one really cares about, and then it's got increased quick victory time. So for a bomber player, it's got 4 lines that you definitely are going to absolutely love to have in your war hall. So let's not talk too much about this. We know this is amazing for bombers, and therefore that makes it an S tier. Yes, we are now getting some S tiers for the bomber players in the house. There we go. Well, we like that there. Okay, next up, Ramesses Abu. Again, a nice easy one for me here. It's S tier. Why is that? Because it's sort of part of the Holy Trinity or Holy Quadruple, depending on whether you're going to use 3 or 4 of these top tier defender artifacts. This is one of them. All defensive towers hit points, yes please. Defender spawn time, yes please. Invading bazooka damage, not really fussed. Invading guerrilla damage, not really fussed. But all defensive towers damage, yes please. You can tell this was designed back when Commandos and Zooks were like the thing. Back in like the very early days of the museum, this would have been, a 5-liner because of the meta. Metas change and artifacts stay the same, which, is just unfortunate. However, this is one that you're going to want if you're a defender. So for that reason, no more chit chat. He's going to go in S tier. Lovely jubbly. Okay, moving on. Hang on, before we do, I need to just refresh my palate. Ah, that's very refreshing. Okay, Raven Rattle. Again, another one that's sort of not as recent, I don't think, as the head, but fairly recent, and a lot of fighter players, again, invested a lot of money and crowns to get this. And then we had the fighter nerf, and there were lots of upset people. However, those remaining fighter players out there are going to want this because we've got fighter hit points, fighter damage, enemy readout damage reduction, enemy tower reduction. Yeah, they're okay, but most people are going to have the all enemy defensive towers damage like maxed out more than likely in their warhall from their equipments. So Raven's Rattles, yes, it's great. However, fighters not so great anymore. So for that reason, we're going to plop it right alongside the head because they're sort of in a similar situation there. Moving on. RQ. Oh no, hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Barons red engine, red Baron's engine. Fighter damage, lovely. Bomber damage, lovely. Heavy tank damage, no thank you. Machine gun infantry damage, not really fussed. Invading fighter hit points, okay. So, for a artifact that you might take one or two, well, you can only take one from, can't you? But you might take one of these and put it in your showcase. Pardon me. It's probably not going to go in your war hall because it is just one of those that doesn't have like two or three that are going to contribute entirely to your main setup. So for that reason, Baron's Red Engine, you are going to go in C tier. It's time to extend. Oh, there we go. Baron's Red Engine. Let's plonk you in C tier. There we go. Oh, yeah, C tier. Oh, it's a bit big. Let's make you a bit smaller. There we go. Right, RQ2 Pioneer. Invading bomber damage. Check. Invading bomber damage. Check. Invading bomber hit points. Check. Air defense hit points. Check. Air defense damage. Check. At the moment, bombers are pretty damn strong. And defenders need to do anything they can to try and, buy a little bit more time on those bomber attacks. So this is now quite a nice little tasty artifact that I know several defenders are putting into like their Hermitage Museum or somewhere in the actual war hall because it's it's something that they can have to ward off those bomber players that are just wrecking everyone right now. So, do we like this? Yes, we do. It's in many ways a 5-liner for defenders, especially in sort of like the current climate and the meta of the game. So, RQ2, let's put you up in, scrolling up, we're going to put you in A. I'm doing it. It's going in A. I never thought I'd say that, but it is. It's not quite S tier because it's not one that, is going to apply to all defenders in all aspects of the game. However, we're putting it in A tier because of the current meta. Right, moving along. Sanada Armor. Again, probably butchered that. Apologies. What do we like about this? Well, again, this is another one of those ones that back when Commandos and Zooks were, king of them all, this is one you'd want. It's an old artifact. It's a little bit dated now. So has it got a couple of things you might put in your showcase? Yeah, you might take the fighter damage, general hit points, or the castle spawning sword saints when destroyed if you're a defender perhaps, but not much more than that. I mean, it's one of those ones that's going to be a showcaser. If you've already got it, I wouldn't recommend you going out and spending 300 tokens on it though. Put those towards something else. So it's going to be one of those sort of C tier. Yeah, going in C tier. I can't put it in the trash. There's one or two things there. Right, 6 shooter. Another one of those ones that it's got a couple of things you might put in your showcase. Bomber hit points or attack helicopter damage if you're one of those attack helicopter players out there. But the bazooka damage, we don't really know. They're just not used anymore. And invading paratrooper damage again. It's not it's by the by, isn't it? So it's okay. Again, it's one of those ones that's got one or two lines you might put in your showcase if you've already got it, but don't go and spend 300 tokens getting it unless you've already got everything else you need. Right, Sophilus Dinos. Again, I think I reviewed this one in my August Marco Polo one. However, do we like it? Not really. Why is that? Well, because it's all about gorillas. So, hasn't got much to offer. Decoy tactic hit points, again, by the by. You can tell by how I'm just talking about this, my feelings to it are that it's just not that great. So, Sophilus Dinos, you're a little bit rubbish, really. It's got enemy defender spawn time, but are you going to spend 300 tokens to get a little bit more defender spawn time? No. So, I think we're going to do it. There's nothing currently in the trash apart from old Da Vinci's thing. Sophilus Dinos, I think you were trash in my last video. You're going back in the trash for this one. Right, how many artifacts left? Only 3 left! Goodness me, okay. Sophilus Dinos is that one. Right. Supermarine Spitfire Engine. Do we like it? Yes. Yes, we do, especially if we're a bomber player. Why is that? It's got bomber damage, bomber hit points, bomber hit points. 3 beautiful lines that any bomber player is going to want. So it's a sort of a must-have if you're trying to build a nice little bomber museum. So we don't have to say much about that. We can stick that straight up in S tier because it's a must-have. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Moving on. Only got 2 left. The Art of War. Well, again, this is another one of those ones that's dated a little bit now. Once upon a time, heavy tanks reigned supreme. Heavy tanks and paratroopers were king of them all, and unfortunately, heavy tanks aren't king of them all and haven't been for a very long time. However, there's 1 or 2 things you might put here in your showcase, such as the general's hit points and damage. That's nice, but really, yeah, there's not much here to offer. So can I put it in the trash? I'm running out of room in my C tier, so you know what? Art of War, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you're going in the trash. If this was a video that was being made back in 2016, 2017, you would be right up there. But you're not, so there you go. Welrod. Welrod has a special place in my heart. It's something I have in my museum. It's something that I brought and I loved because I was a Commandos and Zooks player. And, well, look, it's got all enemy defensive towers hit points, which is lovely. Enemy defender spawn time, which is lovely. And if you're a Commando Zooks player, which back in the day I was, you'd use guerrilla damage and guerrilla hit points. Lovely. And also airstrip troop damage is very nice as well because it buffs fighters, bombers, and the likes. So Welrod, we like Welrod, and it's a well-rounded artifact. Maybe that's why it's called Welrod. Probably not. However, it's nice, and therefore Welrod is very good value for money, especially if the rest of your museum, your equipments, for example, are lacking. If you haven't got a strong set of equipments, Welrod is a good 300 tokens spent. So he's going to go there, or is he going to go in A tier? I'm going to go A, because I think you got at least a good 3 lines there. The enemy defender spawn time, all enemy defensive towers hit points, and airstrip troop damage, which is just nice. You've got 3 good lines there, so this could be used in your actual war hall, and for me personally, it currently is. However, I am looking to buy some more artifacts soon, so it will be replaced for me. But there we go. That is it. We've done it. And I think I'm going to leave Gamebox where it is, because for me, I don't know. Maybe it's because in my situation, my rationale is that like generals are obviously really strong for Lego at the moment, because back in the day, before demolition got buffed, and like now obviously we can just blow up the missile silo and you haven't got to worry about it. Your generals just used to be a big old meat shield that took a nice big pounding, and they weren't really any much use apart from just taking a big old pounding from the missile silo. But now the fact that they stay with your main army and, you know, fight and kill and, you know, fight with your main army, kind of, I see the rationale behind why that's so strong. But I think for me it's just a personal thing. I can't justify S tier yet because I'm still not quite, I don't know. There's lots of people that will disagree with me. I'm going to keep it in A tier, but for me, I think we're going to stick. This is what we're going to stick with. I mean, I could probably do this video all over again and put a lot more time and effort into thinking about every single one, but then we wouldn't have a 2-parter. We'd end up with a 3 or 4 or 5-parter because it would just take me forever. So I think this is hopefully a good little overview of all of the artifacts that the game has to offer, and well, I say all of the artifacts, all of the 300 token artifacts that are currently available, and I think this may, you know, they may add some more in the future, but at the moment I think this is all of the 300 token artifacts currently available. This is hopefully giving you some insights into which ones you are going to want to buy and invest your hard-earned tokens into. I will be doing some videos soon on what artifacts and what's like the ideal setup and the win-win situation for sort of each of the main attack styles. So I'm going to do a video on Lego, what you should aim for, what you need in your museum, and maybe just sort of like a quick little overview again of what Lego looks like in 2025. And same for defense, bombers, and fighters. So I've got a couple of things lined up there regarding the artifacts, and I've also, of course, got all of the other artifacts that are now in the store to go through. So I will be doing some more videos on those, and there's also the 100 token artifacts that I need to go through. So lots more content coming this way. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider it. Hopefully everyone's found this video a little bit more useful to inform their decisions. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.